Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's P.E. Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant, and the author to the fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter. And today, we are honoured to have an interview with author Nathan Colston. Nathan has written 5 books in the fantasy and erotic romance genres, including The Sheamalight Existence and Dancer's Curse of Love. Nathan is a really funny guy. Here is the interview. Enjoy. So, let's get to know a little bit about you, Nathan. Where do you come from, and how has this place influenced your writings?
Normally, when somebody asks me that, I say from my mother. But I was born in Memphis, and I've lived in northern Mississippi the most of my life. Um, it really hasn't influenced my writing at all, although I put Mississippi in my books because Mississippians understand the way I talk and think. So that's pretty much, well, we don't want to go down there. He's from there, you know?
I've actually never met anyone from Mississippi, so I can't really pass much comment or judgment there, but I'm sure you're lovely people.
Most are.
We have delinquents in all societies. Why should Mississippi be any different?
I don't really have an answer to that one that I could actually speak of, but I'm sure there's several out there.
Cool. You have published 5 books since 2017, which is an impressive rate. Well done to you. How many words do you write a day, and do you have a target for the number of words that you do every day?
At one time, I did. I drive trucks, and I was an over-the-road driver, and then I stopped whenever I wanted to. So I normally drove around 8 hours, and I walked from my seat to my office, which was the bunk, and that's where I started working. Now it's a little bit different. When I sit down and start writing, I try to get in at least one chapter, which is 3,000 words, but it doesn't quite work out that way.
Wow, 3,000 words in a day.
More or less a few hours.
Wow, that's really impressive. To give you some idea, I'm lucky if I get 3,000 words done in a month kind of thing, or something like that, and they're good enough to keep.
Well, that's what I try to do. I don't always accomplish that. And my real writing days is normally my days off, where I can come in here 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, start, and then I can crunch out a bunch of numbers. But when I got home projects to do, like outside painting and building a flower bed and stuff like that, I don't get very many words in.
Fair enough. Sounds like you have your priorities, or someone's giving you your priorities, rather.
I have learned a valuable lesson in life. If mama ain't happy, ain't no damn body happy.
Well said. You have written high fantasy novels like Rise of the Guardians and erotic romance books like Love and Beyond. That is quite a contrast of genres. What inspired you to write in these 2 very distinctly different genres?
It's one story. It's 2 sagas, one story. Rise of the Guardians is the very end of what I once called the Sheamalight Existence. That was a book that I say roughly about, well, a group of books, roughly about 2 million words. I did not like the way it ended, so I come up with a much darker dance version than what I've actually got out. And it's all part of one massive story. That's the reason why I call my books, this is just for I put it on the books, but it ain't nothing official. The Chronicles of the Living Library of Creation. So the books are tied together. So that's how the 2 genres come in. There's going to be more genres in this. I've only just started. By the time I'm finished, if I actually do finish the entire thing, they'll be roughly about 30, 40 books.
Wow, that is some ambition. I've got to hand it to you, Nathan. You keep doing it. Complete your ambition. It sounds like a
Right.
lifetime's work or 3 lifetimes work, but still, do it.
I could probably, if the money was there and I could write full time, I could probably do that within 2 years.
Wow.
I can crunch on a good day. Now this is a good day. I can crunch out anywhere between 20 to 30,000 words, as long as they flow frequently. You know, I have days that they don't flow at all. It's like, oh, yeah, that might not work. You know, the same problems every author faces.
Yeah, I face more of the latter kind of days than the formal ones. Good answer. You have received several 5-star reviews for your high fantasy novel, Rise of the Guardians. Again, well done. Why do you think people have enjoyed this story so much?
That is an interesting question. One that is purely speculative. For one, all my books are written out of the box. They're not your normal, typical story. Rise of the Guardians has 3 different endings within the first 4 or 5 chapters, and they're not the kind of book that you can skip over. You got to pay attention, or you're like, "What the hell is going on there?" You know. So I guess it's the combination of those 2 things and getting into the hands of the readers that actually like my style of writing. That is the hardest part about being a writer.
I agree. Similarly, you've received excellent reviews for your erotic romance book, Love and Beyond. Again, well done. This is amazing. You are evidently very talented at your craft. Again, why do you think people have enjoyed Love and Beyond so much?
Love and Beyond, Part 1. It starts out where Dance of Unexpected Love left off. That's the first book in my Dancing a Supernatural Tale. That book was really grounded. It's believable, and it also is outside the box with a real problem that some people say is a problem, others don't. But that takes it to a different level. It's more of a drama. So I guess the people can relate to the situation, minus the part that no way in hell that could possibly happen. But, you know, I guess, and once again, readers that like my style of writing. You know, not everybody writes the same way. And my stories are pretty much very different than your typical author. That's not just me patting myself on the back. I've actually had people tell me that.
Well, that's really nice to hear. And second, this is the time and place to pat yourself on the back, if there is such a time and place. So go ahead. Go ahead and pat yourself again.
Okay, if you say so.
When people discuss with you the steamy scenes that you have written, how does it make you feel? Are you fine with it? Are you proud when people discuss it with you? Or do you cringe?
I guess it would depend on the topic and who's saying what. But I'm a guy. You know, there's no mistake in that one. So when it comes to the sexual content in my books concerning women, it's research. I have talked to women. I don't want to sound like a perv, but watch porn and shit like that. I do the strenuous things I have to do to come up with my books. So I can pretty much talk about anything to anybody. Now if a kid wants to walk up to me and start saying, well, I think you should, I'm going to be like, I don't think you should be reading my shit. Pardon my language. But, other than that, I'm comfortable talking about anything that's in my books.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Which of the characters, any of the characters you've written, is the most like you in your stories, and how?
I wouldn't say that there is anybody in particular in my book that is like me. Although there are events that take place in the book that actually, well, Rise of the Guardians and the Sheamalight Existence was an actual theme of my past that actually happened, literally from beginning to end, down there word for word is what actually happened, and that's pretty much the only thing in my books that can relate to me, and it was revolved around the death of my sister.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And that happened when I was 5 years old. One of the main characters in Sheamalight Existence, Rise of the Guardian, his name is Nathaniel. My name is Nathan. Some people have asked me a question that is, do I fantasize about that? No. My sister-in-law, when I was 6, 7, no, it had to be older than that. I was 7 or 8. Gave me a little magnet that stuck on my refrigerator because my dad, although he teased a lot, I know he didn't mean it, but he always called me a mistake because I came along when he was 40 years old. Not the most affectionate man. And my sister-in-law got angry at him and for telling me that, and she brought in a little refrigerator magnet that said Nathaniel, Hebrew, gift of God. And I think that's the actual meaning of the name Nathaniel. So that's the reason why I put Nathaniel in the book, is because of that situation and the meaning of the name. But no, I don't relate. I can't say that any of this actually goes along personal experiences of mine. Although now there is some things in the books that I have witnessed that I put off in there. I changed the names around, and I rather not get into that right now because a friend of mine that knows what I'm talking about hadn't read my book, probably would read my book, say, you jackass, something like that.
Thank you for sharing those stories with us. That's really nice and really honest of you and brave of you.
Say it how it is. I can't change my past. I wish I could. Let's see here. FedEx, I believe I would be half owner in that company right now. But, it is what it is.
It's one way of looking at it. You're doing well.
Thank you.
Do any of your stories have a moral to them?
My characters have morals. But as far as any moral to the story, no more than just regular life. For somebody that pays attention to life. There are a bunch of people out there that walk their life. You wonder if how the hell they even managed to get up out of the bed. Work with a couple of them. I ain't mentioning no names, but yeah, I've seen a box of rocks that had a higher IQ.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's no wonder people like your writing with metaphors and sayings like that. On a meta level, what do your books mean to you?
damn, I did it. Pretty much
Good.
what they,
Good.
you know, there's a lot of history behind my writing. And I'm not talking about literal history, about the reason why I became a writer and stuff like that. I'm just actually proud that I accomplished that.
And so you should be.
But other than that, I don't really think of it as a job. I'm a guy that's full of life, that ain't rambunctious. If you knew me personally, you'd say that's the boringest son of a bitch I ever seen in my life. But that's just me. You spend all the time. I spent months, possibly years at times away from home. So when I go to work, when I get off work, home is where I want to be. And I'm pretty much a boring guy.
I could think of more boring people than you, that's for sure. You don't win that award, I'm afraid. Oh well. This is one of my favorite questions, by the way. If you could go back in time and meet a younger Nathan Colston, what advice would you give him about the writing process?
Inspect your work. Don't count on others to do their job and leave it at that, because that was one of my biggest mistakes when I first started. The second thing I would do would probably start at when I first started writing to myself. It was more of a hobby. I would have probably written, went ahead and done it professionally, and invested the money in it.
Okay, good advice.
Treat it like a business is one thing.
I think
It is a business.
I think that should be the advice, like the tagline, treat it like a business. You got it there and then.
Yeah.
What do you think is the hardest part of the writing process, in your opinion?
Writing process. I would say editing is the hardest part of the writing process. Personally, is the changing. Because, say for example, I sit down and write something. This is done many a time. I write it the way I want it. I'm sitting there, woohoo, yeehaw, go, daddy, go. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, dumbass, somebody else might not be liking this stuff. You might need to rethink this. So then that's the hardest part of me, keeping the plot online, deleting the words that I think that are offensive, and going with that. That's pretty much, really get off in there with them keys and stuff like that. Next thing you know, you done 2,000 words, and you're sitting up there going on, and all of a sudden this bell goes ding, 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 ding. I'm like, oh. Then it's backspace, backspace, backspace. Oh, shit, this ain't going fast enough. Highlight, backspace.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. What is your writing kryptonite?
Writing. That sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
No, it doesn't sound crazy at all. It's hilariously funny because it's true.
Yeah, I'm not a well-educated person. I quit school in the 7th grade. No, I quit in the 8th grade, completed the 7th. And I was in special education. It was more or less because of my ADT or ADHD or something like that, where I couldn't focus. So it was very hard for me to learn. When I first started, I want to say 20 years ago, I couldn't even write a complete sentence. I didn't even know where to put the punctuation marks or anything like that. I've learned a lot.
That leads on to my next question very well. How has writing changed you as a person? It sounds like it's transformed you.
Oh, writing changed me as a person. I can't say it's really changed me. I'm more observant now because, it's kind of like one of those things like you hear comedians say it all the time. You can't make this shit up, you know. So I've learned the true value and meaning of that word. Sit down there and, just be observant. Now, I'm more observant, but other than that, I'm still the same goofy sucker I've always been.
I don't think so. I think you're a far wiser person and a better all-round person than you give yourself credit for.
Oh, no, I didn't say I was a dumb. There's a difference between ignorant and dumb.
No,
you know,
I was not calling you dumb. Sorry if that came across that way. I think you're a lot smarter than you give yourself credit for. You just maybe didn't have the skills when you were younger for whatever reason. And I
yeah.
think that's the important part here. Sorry if I came across the wrong way.
Oh, don't worry. You could have called me a dumbass. I said, yep. Uh-huh.
Well, first, I would never call someone that. And second, and very much second, you have written 5 books since 2017. That's 3 years, 5 books. That is very impressive, as we've said before. And you know what? You've got some skills there. You're prodigious. You're prolific.
That's published, not what I wrote. I've got about 15 books wrote.
Wow. Well, then
They're not
you're
published.
you're set for many more years to come, even more so. Um, Are you, well, you've half answered this question. Are you writing another book currently? And if so, could you tell us a bit about it, please?
I am writing quite a few books currently. Um, the one that I am most excited about is a co-author project with Andrea Pride. Um, and I'm learning a lot writing with her. And that book is set for medieval times. And it's action, romance, could possibly in the later books turn into erotica. But we do have sex things there. That's pretty fun. Rise of Watir, I'm working on that one right now. That's the book 2 in the memory series. That's going to be released first because I do things backwards. Um, and that's about a young woman who is from a different realm and time. And she is a hybrid, human and mermaid. And she is going to restore a lost kingdom that's buried in the bottom of the ocean. Pretty. It's going to venture off. That's going to go into more like sci-fi, probably, if I had to categorize it. And outside of the Dancing in the Dark series that I got going on, my PA, Nina, is reading over Dance of Unexpected Change right now. That's going to venture off into bring um, several more different books that are going to lead to several more different sagas within. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm amazed you had the time you've had the time just now to come out and speak to me. You've got so much to do.
And that's just here. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do outside.
Yeah. And lastly, and I cannot believe it's the last question already. Outside of writing, what do you like to do?
I'm not very big on movies, but although I will sit down and watch a few every now and then, I ain't big on TV, period. Do chores outside, have a few beers. I love to cook out on my grill and have a few beers, sit out and cool of the evening on the front porch that I got to paint here in a little bit. uh, I really, truthfully am a rather old soul. I don't do a whole lot now. I go out and do stuff with my daughter and watch her play video games sometimes. Go in there and play with video games with her. All that work.
Sounds good to me.
a simple life. And my opinion is there's nothing wrong with simple.
You're absolutely right. There isn't. It's a good life if you enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I ain't planning. I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to be on the next bus.
No one wants to be on that next bus, that's for sure. And that is all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you have enjoyed this interview with Nathan Colston. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, and tell me, did you not find Nathan really funny? I certainly did. In the description below, I have left links to Nathan's books and to his website. If you enjoy reading the fantasy and or erotic romance genres, then check out the Sheamalight Existence, Part 1, Rise of the Guardians, and the Dancer's Curse of Love series. You may well be pleased to hear that Nathan is currently writing sequels to both of those series, and they will come out in due course. Moreover, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is out. If you like reading a book that is short, fast-paced, and full of suspense, then check it out. I have left a link in the description below for that as well. Otherwise, until next time, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.